Question number 7, we're given two equations, f of x and g of x, and we're asked which statement is true. And you see the answer choices, I mentioned domain and range, so we're going to have to graph these. So let's start with the first one. We have right here f of x is 2 absolute value x plus 4 minus 1. Make sure at this point that you know how to graph these on your calculator. I'm going to just have the image here for you. I would definitely recommend always labeling the vertex using menu 5-1 of any V-shape or U-shape graph. So let's start with the domain. Domain is left to right. So the furthest this graph goes left, if you follow it all the way left, is negative infinity. And the furthest this graph goes to the right is positive infinity. So that's my domain, negative infinity to infinity. For the range, you look at the lowest y value. So the lowest y value is -1. And the highest this graph goes is infinity. So my range is from -1 to infinity. Similarly, for g of x, we have right here our absolute value x minus 4 minus 1, and we label our vertex, and we still find the domain in the range. So on the left side, the furthest it goes left is negative infinity, the furthest it goes to the right is positive infinity. The lowest y value is again -1, and the highest this graph goes is infinity. So you notice that they have the exact same domain, and they even have the exact same range. Even though the vertex are different, it does not change the fact that the domains are the same because they're both V-shapes, and the range is the same because their lowest y values are both -1. So the answer is A. Now, question number 8 is one a little bit more involved, and we have not done questions like these, but once we can create the equation out of it, then it's simply just graphing and using menu 5-1. So let's see if we can get to that stage, and hopefully if you have any extra questions or follow-ups, you can just let me know. Okay, so first we're given this diagram, and we're told that the area of the rectangular shape in the garden, right here in gray, is 72 square feet. And we know the area of a perimeter, area of a rectangle, I mean, is length times width. So like the long side times the short side. So this is a 72 square feet right here. This is the area of the gray one. Now, right here we're told that this is part of, it's just he wants to create a walkway with uniform width. So right here, this is going to be the walkway, the one in white. This is length x, this is length x, which means this, all these sides are the same length. They're all length x. That's the one we're actually going to end up solving for x. That's what this whole point of this question is, to solve for how long this is. Is it 5 feet, 10 feet, that kind of thing. Well, we're told, we know this is 72 square feet, so the easiest way to set up our equation is going to be like this. I know that let's talk about this shorter side on the big square. This is 12 feet long, and on the gray square, we don't know how long it is, but we know that if the big one is 12 feet, and you remove one side here of x, and you remove this other one of x, we're going to end up calling this side then, we're going to call this 12, that was the big one, 12 minus 2x. So I'm sorry if that's a little confusing here. I'll try to say that again. 12 is this side right there, okay, same as up here. 12 is this one, 12 feet. And I take away 2x because there are 2 x's here on the side of the walkways. That's going to give me the length of this gray piece here, the short side of the gray rectangle. Same thing for the longer side. The longer side is 18. So for the gray one, if I take away the x here and I take away the x there, it becomes 18 minus 2x. And that describes the length, the long side of this gray rectangle. And I can actually make an equation out of this. I can say that this length here, 12 minus 2x, times 18 minus 2x, has to equal the 72 square feet. So this is my equation. And now I can graph this using menu 5-1 and find my answer for x. Okay, when they're asking us how wide is the walkway, that's really just saying solve for x, because that's the unknown. So we graph it here. Turn the volume off there. Okay, so we have 12 minus 2x in parentheses. It has to have a parentheses. 18 minus 2x. And you're not going to put equals 72. Remember, you're going to put minus 72. So we graph it. We use menu 5-1, and we're looking right here for where it crosses the x-axis. So we got to move it to the right. And I find my 0 here at 3, 0. And let's go further to the right and see if there's any other zeros. And there's one more at 12, 0. I'm going to take off the trace and kind of zoom out so you can see both of them. And now the only acceptable answer though is going to be 3 comma 0, not 12 comma 0. Okay, and the reason for that is I want to get rid of this video and show you here that if this, remember, we're solving for x. Okay, the answer is 3. I'm telling you that right now. The answer is 3. We are solving for x. X is like the number of feet. So if I'm saying 3 feet, if I have 12 feet, that means this is 3 feet, this is 3 feet, and then this length here would be like 6 feet because that makes 12 feet total. If we go with the other answer from the calculator, the one that said 12 feet, if this entire long side here is 12 feet, but we're saying that x is also 12 feet, you can't have 12 feet here, 12 feet here, and something else in the middle, and somehow all of that together still equals 12 feet. It doesn't make sense. So you do want to make sure that if your two answers pop up, you pick the most reasonable answer. In this case, the 3 is the only one that makes sense.